What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I put out a community post just to kind of get your guys' feedback. And the post was, do you guys, girls, think a service advisor should stop taking the customer's side on everything? Think about it from a technician standpoint. Think about it from a customer's standpoint, point of view. And the options were yes, no, or depends on the situation. I threw the word everything in there. Should they stop taking the customer side on everything? And you guys have commented, and there's some pretty good comments on there. Leeser had a really good answer, and his was, the service advisors have a difficult job, unfortunately. They're the link between technician and customers, and you are absolutely right. The automotive business in general has a bad reputation. Customers think they are getting ripped off on every possible service. The customer is not always right. Sorry about that. The customer is not always right, and some look for any excuse to get something for nothing. The if it's free, if it's free, it's for me club. Different from the ever since you club. There is not a single person in the world who is perfect. Technicians aren't infallible. I've made mistakes doing repairs. Some customers just can't be pleased no matter what you do. If a tech makes a solid repair, the service writer should back him up. If a mistake is made, the technician should be held accountable. And you are absolutely right. If a customer is being overly difficult, then they should be made known of it. If a service advisor is going to cave in to every customer's whim, then they should consider another line of work. And you are absolutely right. And this all depends on the situation. And I was talking to Boston Bill yesterday. He was doing an alignment, and that car that you saw me doing in my live feed was the sound of a click type noise. And it was where the axles went into the hubs. Now, I did the TSB. He was also complaining about a brake noise. Jiffy Lube did his brakes. They did his brakes incorrectly. They said they just did them. His pads were at 4 millimeters. You guys saw that in the video. Those were not new pads. Going back to helping Bill out with the alignment, he was having a little bit of difficulty, so I went back there to help him. Well, my advisor came back about that car and said, hey, look, he's still hearing a noise. So I was like, sweetie, there's no noise that he's talking about. I fixed the TSB, which is what he's referring to. If there's some other type of noise, then, obviously there's going to be a diag fee. She was like, well, can you just go take a look at it? Basically, she was taking his side, and, she walked away, and Bill was like, she's got to stop caving in to customers. She does stand her ground most of the time, but at other times she will give in. That was nothing on my part. I did what I was supposed to do. This customer wasn't being difficult, but she was caving in. They are not always right. So I went out there and talked to the customer. I rode around with him. The noise that he was hearing was an actual normal noise. No repair should attempt to be made. And I pulled up the TSB for him, and I showed him everything, and he's cool with it. Not a big deal. Now, she had another customer earlier that morning. So she kind of flip-flops. And the lady just came out, oh, I have the family plan, or the family oil change plan, where they give you your oil changes for free. But there's a catch. The catch is you have to get all your maintenance stuff done. Your tires rotated, your air filter, your flush is done when they're supposed to be done. Otherwise, the family plan is not going to pay for your oil change. So what did my service advisor do? She told her, the lady had already got out of the car with an attitude. And she said, ma'am, we can't cover your oil change. It's not going to be covered under your family plan because you did not get any of your services done. Well, they didn't tell me that, blah, 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 blah. What does my service advisor do? She didn't cave in. She printed everything out and said, hey, look, right here, you signed everything. You are aware that you're supposed to do your services. Well, the lady just literally took off. She was mad. She wanted something for free. So what's the difference? Why did she handle one different than she did the other? And it still confuses me. So the customer is not always right, and it depends on what the situation is if the advisor should take the customer side. Not take the customer side every time. She didn't take the customer side that time, but she took the customer side after I got done working on it, because he was saying something about a noise. And if she would have paid attention, it's a totally different noise than he was talking about last time. So, Lisa, you are correct. If a technician did everything that he could, fixed everything the way that he's supposed to, verified the concern, had another technician look at it to verify QC, quality control, and everything's good to go, then that service advisor should not cave into that customer. That service advisor should have that technician's back. Plain and simple. If a mistake happened and that car got sent out somehow, then yes, on the customer side, the technician should be held accountable. Completely agree. Yes, they do have a hard job. They deal with all sorts of people every day. You can really never know what kind of person is going to get out of that car. So, don't go into a dealership and the word appointment. This happened the other day. Appointment. I hate that word. There's no such thing. I prefer to call it a check-in time. And reason being, I have an appointment at 9:15. That doesn't mean you show up at 9:14 and skip to the front of the line to be seen at 9:15. It doesn't work that way. That is a check-in time. You should be checked in by 9:15, and they'll tell you, hey, there's this many cars in front of you. It's going to be this long before they look at it. And then they go back to the, I had an appointment. Do you go to the doctor for a 9:15 appointment and get seen at 9:15? I didn't think so. So that's more of a corporate thing. But advisors, you have to stop taking the customer side on everything. It makes the technicians mad. Then that person's just going to keep coming back and want something for free every time. And Bill told me about a lady when he worked at Acura she came in and complained about everything all the time, no matter what you did to the car. Like Lisa was saying, you can't please everybody. She's just one of these people. She sat up there for an hour and a half and complained and complained and complained until finally they gave her one of those tumbler cups and she was like, oh, okay, and left. Really? That's it? You could have just gave you a cup and you left. You didn't have to complain. Lying on technicians and stuff. If the technician actually did his job and you want to come in there and lie about it, you shouldn't even be coming in there. You're ruining it for everybody else. Maybe you got ripped off at another dealership. I'm not the technician that's going to rip you off. Ford Boss is not going to rip you off. AJ is not going to rip you off. Boston Bill is not going to rip you off. We are a good dealership. We, as I mean like Ford Boss and A-Rod and Rain Man, we're not going to rip you off. And I wish there is more of us out there, and I wish there was more and more of us out there. But nope, it depends on the situation, and kind of no, they shouldn't take the customer side every time. So don't go in somewhere thinking that you're going to get something for free if you show your ass, because people are not going to want to deal with you. And I actually have a video of how not to get ripped off at a dealership, not by me as a technician, but as I've worked with technicians that rip people off. And I'll link that in here so you guys can see that. There's a few things that you can do just to make everything kind of go smooth. Just be patient. We'll tell you what's going on with your car, and it's up to you if you want to fix it, or warranty. That's it. So, going back, should the advisor stop taking the customer side on everything? Keyword everything. Yes, stop taking the customer side on everything. Take the customer side when it's appropriate and you know that the customer is right. Not on everything, just so you can shut them up and get them out of the door and they get something for free. Because then they're just going to keep coming back and doing it. Okay? People lose money that way. Dealership gets a bad name. And then they start telling all their friends, hey, if you go in there and show your ass, they'll give you free stuff. Then people start to get irritated. So with that being said, I'm going to link the description of how not to get ripped off at a dealership. And I appreciate you guys watching. I love you, and I'll see you on the next one.